Hey everyone, and welcome to Turn This Way with me, Jennifer Radkey, your host and mindset coach. Last week, we discussed understanding your limitations and weaknesses to be more successful in all areas of life. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go back after this episode and give it a listen. This week, we are going to flip the switch and discuss the opposite of our limitations, our strengths. Now tell me, when was the last time you took a moment to really think about your strengths? I'm talking about those things you naturally do well, the qualities that set you apart. Most of you have probably been to a job interview at some point, and so the "tell me some of your strengths" question is one you are most likely familiar with. But do you really know the answer? The staple answers of good time management skills, great communicator, excellent team player, and ability to multitask are go-tos. But what are the qualities and strengths that resonate uniquely to you? In this episode, I'll help you identify your strengths, understand why they matter, and learn how to use them to create success in your life and business. And because this show is all about action, I'll guide you through some interactive exercises along the way. So grab a notebook and let's go. First things first, what are strengths? Strengths are more than just skills. They are qualities, abilities, and natural tendencies that make you, well, you. If you're not sure what yours are, don't worry. I've got a few ways to help you figure it out. And an important note to keep in mind, our character strengths can change. Some are natural tendencies we seem to possess as early as childhood, but others are created through our life experiences. So it's important to stop and reflect on what your current strengths are and not what they were in the past. They may still be the same, but you may be surprised in that they've changed. Okay, step 1. Look at your past wins. Think back to a time when you felt proud of something you accomplished. Maybe it was a work project, something in your personal life, or even how you handled a tough situation. What qualities helped you succeed? Was it creativity, persistence, leadership? Pause for a moment. Jot down 1 or 2 times in your life when you felt really proud. What strengths do you think helped you? And then, can you think of ways that you continue to use these strengths in your day-to-day life? Step 2, ask others. Sometimes we are blind to ourselves. We can't see our strengths because we either don't see those qualities as strengths, or we are so busy in improving ourselves that we don't realize that we already have some great qualities. But those around us notice our strengths. An outsider's view can be surprising and eye-opening for our own self-awareness. Here's a fun challenge. Send a quick message to 3 people you trust and ask them, what's one thing you think I'm really good at? I promise you'll be surprised by the answers. I did this once when I was an education coordinator at a learning center. I asked my team what I could work on to be a better leader. They gave some suggestions, but also pointed out strengths I already exhibited as a leader. One of them being that I was very observant and aware as to what was going on in the center at all times, enabling me to troubleshoot and provide help on the spot where needed. I had always thought of myself as having a wandering mind, like head in the clouds kind of thing. So this outside observation was definitely a surprise and an eye-opener to a strength I was unaware I possessed. So go ahead and find a few people you trust and ask them, what do you think I'm great at? Okay, step 3, take the VIA Character Strengths Survey. One of my favorite tools I use with clients for uncovering top strengths is the VIA Character Strengths Survey. It's a free science-backed assessment that identifies your strongest personality traits. It ranks 24 different character strengths, things like perseverance, curiosity, kindness, and leadership, and helps you see what comes most naturally to you. I used this survey with my team at KRG Hospitality, and it was very cool to see what strengths different members shared and what unique strengths we had. It enabled us to look at how we can strengthen our business by playing off of each other's character strengths. You can do this as well with your team or with your family. There's even a version of this survey for kids. What an amazing way to not only celebrate your own strengths, but the ones of those around you. I'll link it in the notes, but you can check it out at www.viacharacter.org. Trust me, it's worth doing. So again, that's www.viacharacter.org. So why does all of this matter? Why should you care about your strengths? Well, when you know what you're naturally great at, life gets easier. Here's what happens when you lead with your strengths. You feel more confident because you're focusing on what you do well. You make better decisions. You'll say yes to the right opportunities and no to the things that don't align. You experience more joy and energy because you're working with, not against, your natural abilities. Yes, as we discussed last week, you need to be aware of your limitations in order to accept them without judgment, improve upon them, or delegate where need be. But understanding your strengths is equally as important, because when we are using our strengths, we are in a pocket of confidence, pride, and joy. I want you to think about this. How often do you focus on improving your weaknesses instead of amplifying your strengths? What would happen if you flipped the mindset? It's about creating balance and understanding yourself as a whole. All right, let's take a quick look at an activity that can help you actually use your strengths in your everyday life and career. I want you to align your strengths with your goals. Look at something you're working toward right now. How can you use your top strengths to make the process easier or more enjoyable? If creativity is your strength, how can you use it to stand out? If leadership is your strength, how can you guide others? Write down one of your top strengths. Now brainstorm one way you can use it this week at work, in your business, or even in your personal life. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, knowing your strengths is even more important. As I mentioned last week, too many business owners waste time trying to be great at everything instead of focusing on what they do best. Here are just a few common strengths in entrepreneurship and how you can leverage them. Entrepreneurs tend to be visionaries. You have a tendency to look towards the future and envision how it can be better. You can use your strength of big picture thinking for strategy. Being able to envision what the future could be will help you in figuring out the strategy of how to get there by working backwards from the big picture to the present moment. Entrepreneurs are often connectors. They have a natural instinct to seek connections that will help them reach their end goal. This strength can be used to focus on relationship building and networking in day-to-day interactions. And lastly, entrepreneurs are often problem solvers. Essentially, you create a business to solve a problem. You are a natural problem solver. You can hone into this strength to create innovative solutions for your clients. Here's the challenge for my entrepreneurs, and it's a repeat of last week's because I know many of you need to continuously work on this. Look at your business. Are you spending 80% of your time in your zone or genius? Or are you stuck doing tasks that drain you? Make a plan to delegate or outsource one thing that is not your strength. All right, let's recap today's episode. Today we covered how to identify your strengths, why they matter, and how to use them for success in life and business. Now it's time for action. Here's your challenge, one last challenge. Identify one strength, commit to using it more intentionally this week. It could be in work, business, or even how you approach your daily life. DM me or comment on my latest post with your biggest takeaway. I'd love to celebrate with you as always. And before we go, don't forget to check out the VIA Character Strength Survey to discover even more about yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode helped you, share it with a friend. I'll see you next time on Turn This Way, because when you focus on your strengths, you're always heading in the right direction.